remember, India has been making this demand for days now that there are 41 diplomats and you have to, in fact, get them to leave the countries. What India has said, very, very categorical in that demand. Amid escalating India-Canada face-off, Justin Trudeau has been just trying to fix what he badly spoiled. He started with accusing India of terrorist Nijjar's murder, but now is seeking private talks with India, citing our country's rising global power. He's been softening his stand on India. Here's Trudeau's climb downs in a fortnight.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. There are credible reasons to believe that agents of the government of India were involved in the killing of a Canadian on Canadian soil. That is something of the utmost and foundational importance in a country of rule of law, in a world where international rules-based order matters. In regards to India, Canada has shared the credible allegations that I talked about on Monday with India. We did that many weeks ago, and we are there to work constructively with India, and we hope that they engage with us so that we can get to the bottom of this very serious matter. India is a growing economic power, an important geopolitical player, and as we presented with our Indo-Pacific strategy just last year, we're very serious about building closer ties with India.
Frosty ties between both the countries as far as the last developments over the last few days and weeks is concerned. Any response yet, Shiv, from the Indian government? Were they expecting it to happen this early? Because the deadline given was the 10th of October. And also, are these 41 diplomats, do we have a confirmation on the number as well?
Not only were they expecting it to happen this early, they had the sense I get from the government is, look, India is not some random Indian Ocean island country, that can be taken for granted by, the powers that be, as it were. And I mean that literally, not just cynically. So when India says that these diplomats need to leave, they need to leave. There's no, you can discuss it, you can sit across the table and have a diplomatic conversation about it. But if India has put its foot down, as the External Affairs Ministry made very clear just a couple of days ago, Sneha, then the matter is closed. They've got no choice. Obviously, India is not going to, perform some act of violence on those diplomats. They lose their diplomatic immunity, which is the main protective force on any, on any diplomat from any country anywhere in the world. So that's a very, very serious thing as far as foreign offices is concerned. So let's be very clear about that. Canada did not have a choice in the matter. They could have, asked for more time or perhaps, sought greater negotiations at a higher level. But the point is, this entire fracas, remember, Sneha, was triggered by the highest level, by the Prime Minister. It doesn't get higher than that in Canada. Justin Trudeau himself triggered this very hostile crisis. And let me just say, the ties between India and Canada are not frosty. They are all out hostile. And like I said, at the risk of repeating myself, the fact that India said, we are not going to back down on our demand for parity, as Gaurav said, came just 2 days after, Canada was, visibly softening its stance. Melanie Joly, who was deployed by Justin Trudeau, said, now we want private discussions. 15 days of public accusations against India, and suddenly they soften up and say they want private discussions, which was perhaps an opportunity for India to maybe sort of also climb down a little bit and show that it's willing to talk. But India used that opportunity to reinforce its power play and say, no, we want parity. It's a matter of principle. We have evidence to show that diplomats are interfering in internal affairs of India. And therefore, this is not some kind of vindictive move that we are seeking. This is something that we require on principle. India is not just any other country. That's the big message from all of this. India cannot be taken for granted. Gone is the past. Gone are the old colonial trappings. This is a country that has basically played it on the line with the First World and the West. And let me, as a last point, Sneha, say that this isn't just a message to Canada. This is a message to the Anglosphere. This is a message to the US, the UK, Australia, all of these countries that this is a completely new India that you're dealing with.
Clearly weren't expecting a reaction like this from us, where India minced no words in saying that Canada has become a safe haven for terror. But what really, Gaurav, seems to have forced Canada's hand on this one, as far as softening their position is concerned, is also the fact that they got zero support from the West that they were perhaps expecting.
And, you know, this is hurting Canada. If you listen to commentary within Canada, they're saying, where are our Five Eyes partners? While the United States has made certain noises saying that we want India to join investigations and we want India to cooperate, at the same time, they're also telling Canada that please carry out a detailed investigation, put all facts out in public domain, let there be a transparent investigation. And that is Canada's Achilles heel. Canada has carried out absolutely no investigation. When you see details of what's been happening on ground, it's a series of disasters when it comes to investigations, both by the police in Surrey and then by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. For over a month, they did not have a suspect after the murder. They put out a list of people that, they wanted information about, putting out CCTV images much later. They hadn't even spoken to people around in that area. So there are a series of disasters by the RCMP in this case, and without any evidence, based on some potential allegation may have been shared by a Five Eyes partner, but that is not evidence that will stand scrutiny in a court of law. And if Canada has a rules-based order, then one, it has to have evidence that will stand scrutiny in a court of law, and two, a rules-based order would have taken action against terrorists like Nijjar and closed down the Khalistani camps in Canada, which clearly a so-called rules-based order, a liberal democracy, didn't do. So Canada is in the dock here with international focus now on Khalistani terror on Canadian soil.
That's right. Gaurav, I'm going to thank you for the moment for joining us. Also, I'm thanking Shiv for his views and perspective on that story.